Well, hi there, MTG Salvation. I am Natural Selection, and today we're going to discuss Type 2 Goblins. Y'all can remember back then, though I started playing around Eventide, I was aware that Goblins back then were actually a really good deck, and actually changed the game as far as aggro and slick decks went. So right now we're going to look at what the Type 2 Golems are capable of, as you can see here. In the mono red deck, we only use one type of land, and that is, of course, our mountains. So, if you think about it, what do our mountains provide? Well, not only does it provide for our goblins and our burn spells, it can also provide us with a certain known thing known as power, such as Teetering Peaks. We all know this gives creatures 2/0, but it comes to play tap, it becomes really formidable. Our goblin guys can hit for 4, Warning Spirits for 3, Bushwhacker kick, target creature plays for 4. So we can point out that red is how we want to go if we're playing mono red. Spells, alright. Well, in the mono red goblin deck we have, well, if you're following my list, maybe only 3 spells. Right now those spells would be Dragon Fodder, and of course, as we all know, Dragon Fodder is the card that we use to get 2 golems out, which provides 2 bodies for blocking and for attacking, and, to chuck out with siege damage. Our next group of spells, in fact, would be Burst Lightning. Hits for 2, and you can target the player, and if you kick it, you can do for 4. And of course we have everyone's favorite, Lightning Bolts. 3 damage, pop wherever you want. Those right now are our spells. Frankly, we don't have too many spells we can offer now in mono red, unless you're playing, red deck wins, but of course we're not. So right now, these are the main spells in the Goblin deck. Dragon Fodder, Burst Lightning, and Lightning Bolts. Alright, creatures. Creatures are pretty simple in the Goblin deck, unless you're running the Raise Runner version of Raise Dragon, but mine's the straight up aggro and hit you for a lot type. So of course we're going to come over our favorite Goblin Guide. Haste 2, they reveal a land, and if they're not, well, we get free information anyways. Probably one of the best Goblin cards you can use. Alright, everyone's favorite utility Goblin probably, Goblin Bushwhacker. 1/1, you can kick it, comes with Haste 2, great Goblin, as we all know. Of course, one of our biggest and hugest threats, and probably the lightning rod of our deck, which would be known as Warning Spirit. Double strike and cheats in some of our best creatures, as we all know, as Siege Gang and Goblin Chieftain, and we can hit for quite a few damage if we do it right. Now, my deck, though it's completely Goblins, runs one other creature for late game and for fast hitting, and that's of course Hellspark Elemental. 3/1 trample, and I can unearth him. Now, though he's not really Goblinist, I've actually won games and provide huge hits with this guy for unearthing him and kicking with a Bushwhacker, or playing him a Bushwhacker and Treason Peaks and hitting for 5 on that turn. Now, say we do hit with Warning Skater, we get to pop in some of our favorite Goblins. As we all know, those Goblins you probably would want to cheat in, or in fact, Goblin Chieftain, because all our other Goblins were 1/1 and haste. So, though he's a 2/2, everything else can be hitting harder, it's going to come in hitting harder. No matter what, it will be a lot stronger. And now, the best card we probably want to cheat in this entire game for our Goblins is, of course, Siege Gang Commander. So not only does he provide 3 Goblins in the deck, but you can also hit for 2 if you sacrifice as long as you have 2 mana. It becomes a huge threat. I never really use his ability to win games, but the funny thing about him is that when people look at him, they're like, oh, it's just a 2/2 Goblin. They expect you to sack the Goblins left and right. Usually that's not what I do. I always just go up straight up and hit, so that throws them off. So, though we have Siege Gang, and probably one of the other best Goblins in the deck, let's see here. Just go ahead and show the rest. I got my dual deck version, got the 10th edition version, and of course, y'all seen my artist signed version of Siege Gang Commander, foil from Scorch. And that's really all our creature base goes. Alright, now we're going to take a look at the sideboard. My sideboard is kind of based off the Red Deck Win sideboard, as we all know, and the cards that I use in my sideboard happen to be Active Treason, 3 mana, gain control target creature till the end of turn, untap it, gains haste until the end of turn. Of course, usually I would only use this for like a Baneslayer, maybe like a Rafik of the Many, or something that really huge that just came out, but I never really had too many chances to use it, at least not around here. Pretty sure y'all's meta probably uses this card somewhere around here. That's just another one. Also, right now, this is strictly for Eldrazi Monument decks, and so I run Shatter, 2-mana destroy target artifact. That's really all it's used for, unless I'm playing Esper deck, it runs Platinum Angel, Whisper Silk Cloak. So that's what that card is. I haven't had any chance to use this yet, so for right now, these two cards haven't been used, but they can be used. I'm running 3 Shatters right now, since Eldrazi is popular. Right. Now, since recently Fog decks have been showing up around more people's area, I run Unstable Footing also. In my meta, there is a couple of Fog decks, and first of all, I mean, it's a good card. They can prevent damage. You can just hit them with your Goblins, and if you get a chance to kick it, you're doing 5 damage, so that's an added bonus for that. Now, there's another card I've had a chance to use once, but it didn't even matter around that time, was Pilot Needle. This is mainly for Planeswalkers, that's what I use it for. So, whenever I play against a Jund or some other lame deck I do not like, I just name the Planeswalker that they use. Mainly around Eldrazi, I just name Nissa or Garuk, and they cry, and I'm like, well, that's not my fault. Alright, now, one of my favorite cards to use in the sideboard as of right now would be Mana Barbs. It comes up for 4. Around that time, you probably have as many Goblins as you need, or pretty much a few of your best Goblins out. So, in their turn, not only do they have a harder time removing your stuff and playing out their creatures, but they're taking damage for it. And by that time, we should probably already have them down to maybe 14 or 12, or maybe even less if we're lucky. So this card turns the game around a lot, but remember, it hurts everyone, and more than likely, it might end up doing you in if you use it towards the late game, so I do not suggest doing it. I did it one time to lock a game down, and I ended up hurting myself more, but in the end I won because I put a second one out, went balls out, and just attacked, and he couldn't do anything for the rest of the game. So, risky, but good. And of course, my last sideboard card, and what some people main deck, and what I was thinking about main decking, is Goblin Rune Blaster. Goblin Rune Blaster, 3/2/1 haste. You kick it, destroys target non-basic land. Now, we think about it, what deck doesn't not use a non-basic land? Bang has Glacial Fortresses, some other grows. Jund has Dragon Skull Summits, and Rootbound Crag. Like, pretty much every deck, including ours, is using non-basic lands. So, this card is a good main deck, but I didn't main deck as much just because it was like a 3-drop and it usually comes down for 4. So it was kind of clogging up the deck, so I just don't do it. But usually around that time, they already have the mana they need, so it's not as great for me. But still a great card. And the only other thing I can explain about is my tokens. I have Goblin tokens, of course. Quite a few of them, just to help out with the deck whenever I do get Goblins out. And that's all we have to say about Sideboard. So, pretty much, that's all I can talk to you about right now with the Goblins. And if you have any other further questions, we can just discuss strategy. I would like maybe someone else to post a video, or the deck list on the forums again. And maybe we can start discussing different color variants and whatnot. And I would really appreciate it.